So under 13-2412A, if you don't give us your true and lawful name, you could be arrested and or cited for that crime itself in itself. That's a crime all in itself.
So are you telling me right now if I don't give you my name, then I'm going to be arrested?
Well, we're going to have a supervisor talk with you, but that's certainly a possibility, just for that.
It's a public disturbance, and the disturbance if someone's offended by it.
That's subjective, though.
But it's still their right if they're disturbed by it. But
It's really not. Not in public.
If no one says anything, then at that point, you can say whatever. You can say as loud.
What if somebody said something and they were offended?
Well, then we have to find that person. But the person says, "Oh, they said it, but I'm gone. Or you're not here. I can't do anything."
Or they're here. I'm sure that she's offended by it. The person.
That's our complainant. That's the person. So
That's. I would look it up. I would talk to your supervisor first because that's completely wrong.
Welcome to Mr. Rights, where your rights matter and the truth always stands with you. Every day we uncover how the law works outside the courtroom, where real encounters happen. From ID refusal to unlawful stops, we break it down so you know your power. No hype, just your rights, real cases, and real knowledge. Hit subscribe, because knowing is the first step to standing your ground.
Somebody else to get here just because I'd like to make sure someone's with you and I can tell somebody with them.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't want to stay or talk to anyone. I just want to get their names.
Do you want to go outside and sit instead?
What's that?
You want to go outside and sit instead of being in here?
I mean, not really. I just like to get their names.
And like I said, I would try to get their...
All right. Well, I'm just going to take off then, I guess. So, all right. Have a good day.
Right now they want you trespass, so you
Okay.
can't just take off, okay? We got to get your name and information.
Oh, no, that's
You
okay.
want to go sit down here?
Am I being detained?
Yes, you are.
What am I being detained for?
You trespass.
Well, I'm leaving. I have an opportunity to leave.
No.
Yeah, that is how it works. It is how it works.
Okay, so right now you are being detained.
All right, can you get a supervisor, Evans?
I will gladly. Do you want to just take a seat right here then?
Thank you. I would rather not. So I'd rather just leave. But I can't leave?
I've already explained this to you. You're being lawful detained.
Oh, okay.
You're not choosing to listen to me.
I am.
Okay? So all it is just taking a seat and identifying yourself. Okay? Just
I'd rather not. I don't want to identify myself.
Okay, but you are detained right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Then at this point, I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and I demand to speak to a lawyer for any more
So
questioning.
you're not going to identify yourself.
Fifth Amendment, I'm remaining silent. Hi, sir.
I'm Officer Culver with Mesa Police Department, okay?
Yes, hello, sir.
We're recording, you're recording, that's fine. You're here on private property, they've asked you to leave how many times?
Yeah, I just want to leave now.
But how many times did they ask
Once.
you? Okay, so they've asked us because you were yelling at staff, yelling at people.
No.
That's what they're recording, and they asked us to trespass you.
Interesting. So I wanted to leave, and that was it.
Okay, but you're still trespassing here.
She made me stay.
Okay.
I tried to go.
Right. So
I left as soon as she told me. They won't give me their names. Nothing.
why would they give you their name?
Because I asked for it.
But why did you ask?
Because I want to make a complaint against
Who
them.
do you complain against? Who do you complain to?
Those guys. Yeah, because they work for the public. They have superiors that I make a complaint to over a private issue. So they asked
So
me
it's
to leave finally.
non-BS?
So I left, and I'm leaving. And so at this point, I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
That's not how it works. Under state law, under 13-2412A, you were required to give your true and lawful name to the police. When you're lawfully detained, you're here trespassing on private property, and we're here called by a victim of a crime. And why is that funny? Why is that funny? So under 13-2412A, if you don't give us your true and lawful name, you could be arrested and or cited for that crime itself in itself. That's a crime all in itself.
So are you telling me right now if I don't give you my name, then I'm going to be arrested?
Well, we're going to have a supervisor talk with you, but that's certainly a possibility, just for
Okay.
that. So do you wish to give us your true and lawful name?
I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and demand to
That's
speak to a
not
lawyer. I want
anything.
to speak to a lawyer first.
Go ahead
I'm being
and call.
detained, so it is.
Go ahead and
Then
call
yes.
your lawyer now, because here's the thing. That's not an incriminating statement, your true and lawful name. It is a crime to not give your true and lawful name. And I've explained to that at least multiple times. I've given you the statutes. So if you want to go ahead and call your lawyer, go right ahead. Okay? But if you refuse, you use this Fifth Amendment thing, it doesn't apply in this case.
Are you going to arrest me?
Well,
if I don't?
I can't arrest you if you comply with the law.
Are you going to if I don't? Because I'd rather just stay here and finish my business.
Well, they've asked you to leave.
I know, and I'm trying to leave.
On the private property.
Yeah, I'm trying to leave.
Give us your name and information. We will give you a verbal trespass trespassing you, which means
What'll happen if I don't?
you choose not to.
If I choose not to, what'll happen?
Sergeant okays it, then you'll probably get arrested and go to jail for failing to identify yourself. And hearing
I think we'll just have to wait for the sergeant then. All right.
At least we're all being polite about it.
Is this the Bank of America?
I don't think so. I don't know where that is anymore.
I could have sworn it was here.
Many years ago, I think they owned the building.
Yeah, Sergeant Palmer and Deputy Evans. Sergeant Palmer, Deputy Evans.
Probably the north side of the building by that wall. You can walk in from the south. There's no parking there for everyone.
Yes, I was wondering, I was in there conducting business and doing my thing, and then they asked me to leave, and I was having a conversation with them about it, and then she came shortly. Actually, matter of fact, they asked me to leave right about the time she got here.
Okay.
And so I was getting ready to leave, and she said that I couldn't leave, that I was being detained, and that they wanted to do a formal trespass instead of just letting me go, where they got my name and stuff, and I just wanted to leave, and
Okay.
that was it.
Okay. Well, and that's kind of my understanding of it too, is that their business, it's their property, so that it basically looks like your house, your rules.
Right. Well, it's a little different though. I mean, it is a public entity. They'd serve the public, and there's a public lobby for the public to come and.
Sure, but
Absolutely.
still, I mean, there's a lot of businesses that serve the public, but it's their house, their rules. So if they don't want you there, it's just like if at the mall.
They never told me to leave until just like we had an issue. We had a conflict about whether I could record or not. Where we had a discussion. It wasn't even like an argument,
Okay.
and they were discussing the laws that was on there. And I looked it up, and it was trespass laws. And that's where it wasn't even a confrontation. We just had a conversation.
Okay.
And then they never asked me to leave. But when they asked me to leave, it was right about the time she got in, and I obviously came out here. I was trying to leave, and she said that I can't.
Okay.
That I was being detained. So
Okay.
here we are.
And that's kind of one of those like situations where the officers get called and they say, hey, we want the person officially trespassed. They're like,
Yeah.
it's who's the person? Person in orange, a female.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
I mean,
okay.
with trespassing though, you can't even if it's a private business or anything, they can say, hey, you got to go, and they have to go, and that's sufficient.
Right. They after you've given a lawful request to leave,
Yeah.
you're required to leave. If you don't, then my understanding is they did that, and then they called the police, and then we showed up, and they said
They were asking me to.
that's just my understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I
you're
gotcha.
right. It's just that's my understanding. So that's
Yeah.
why it went the way it did. So if you want to go, you're free to go. It just now with the understanding that they have trespassed you.
Yeah, I don't want to come back here anyways. I can do my business online that I wanted to do now,
right.
So that's fine.
As long as we're, and obviously you recognize us and we'll recognize you. They will recognize you if you came back on the property.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. This isn't a place I want to go.
Absolutely. As long as we're all on the same page, it's easy.
All right.
All right. Hope you have a great day.
So I'm out of here. You too. Thank you. And so you guys kind of learned that you don't need to ID someone for officially.
Okay. Have a good one. Thank
All right. You too. Here you go, ma'am.
In Mesa, Arizona, a city where the rate of child removals is over 50% higher than the national average, a citizen was detained by police simply for seeking transparency at the Department of Child Safety. In this tense setting, a critical legal question erupted. When are you legally required to show your ID? The answer depends on state law, and staying silent isn't always wrong. Remember this: calmly request a lawyer, ask if you're being detained, and never assume you're obligated to comply without cause. Now, let's dive into video 2, where the conflict escalates right on a Texas sidewalk.
Okay. Oh. Hi. Hey, good afternoon.
We just got called over here.
I figured you might.
They don't really like your sign.
I'm sure they don't. Hold on.
Is there a reason why you're doing that?
Yeah, I'm just engaged in peaceful protest. I'm not happy with them right now, so just saying how I feel in a legal and, you know, a healthy way.
I'm gonna get with them, but just know if they don't want your property, I have to trespass you.
I've never been on the property.
I'm just saying.
I know. If they want to, that's fine, but I've never even been on the property, so I know how to stay on the sidewalk. That's it. Yes, ma'am.
With them, and then whatever they want to do, obviously they called, so I'm sure they don't want you here for their business. Whatever reason, I don't understand what happened.
Right. Well, I hope you let them know that I have every right to be on the sidewalk here, saying how I feel.
And like I said, I'm gonna get with them, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you planning on staying here a while?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not happy with them right now, so I'm just.
Is it like were you a coworker or know someone who was there, or is it just like the service you got? Or?
Yeah, a combination of things, I guess. But yeah, so right now I'm just engaged in First Amendment activity, my free speech.
No, you're not on their property.
Right. Hopefully you let them know.
So we did let them know that. So
Okay.
we can't come with this like this is a public sidewalk.
Right.
However, we do have disorderly conduct, and that's if, again, first we got called for it, but like I said, it's your free amendment. You can
I mean,
say-
protesting is not like disorderly conduct unless it violates a time, place, or manner type of restriction. It's middle of the day on a public sidewalk, traditional public forum.
Correct, but in regards to the language and vulgar in a display, and it tends to offend someone.
No, that's not true. The First Amendment is meant to protect people that don't like your speech. It's to protect vulgar speech. It's to protect all of that. So it's not disorderly conduct. I could say anything. I could say F the police if I want to. I could say anything.
I know, but if no one calls on it or tells us anything, you can say as much as you want.
It's not based off of their feelings, though. I can't. It's not. That's why it's solid. It's black and white. There's no gray area when it comes to that. When it comes to free speech.
It's a public disturbance, and the disturbance if someone's offended by it.
That's subjective, though.
But it's still their right if they're disturbed by it. But
It's really not.
But if
You're not
no
in
one
public.
if no one says anything, then at that point, you can say whatever. You can say as loud.
What
as
if
you
somebody
want.
said something and they were offended?
Well, then we have to find that person. But the person says, "Oh, they said it, but I'm gone. Or you're not here. I can't do anything."
Or they're here. I'm sure that she's offended by it. The person.
That's our complainant. That's the person. So
That's. I would look it up. I would talk to your supervisor first because that's completely wrong, and you'd subject yourself to a lawsuit if you were to try to charge me or make me leave based off of a disorderly conduct because of what I say. I would look into that if I were you before you make any.
You never stepped foot on property, so
Of course.
you're good on that, right? You're on the side property.
Absolutely.
Because she does find that offensive. Okay, that's
Then
her.
that's-
She finds that offensive.
I'm so sorry.
That's all. And
This
okay.
on the grind finds me if I'm offended by it. Does that mean she's?
It's a class C, dude. It's not literally a big deal. All we're asking is she just wants you to leave. So if you're willing to leave, be about your day. Other than that, we can't issue you a citation for.
You would be wrong for that. I would talk to your supervisor.
That is my supervisor over there.
Then I would talk about that. I would look into that then if I were you. Canales, is that how you pronounce your name, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. I would look into that because I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm not going to leave because she's offended. The whole point is for her to get a message that I'm not happy.
So you'll be okay if I go to your house and put profanity and I just stand in front of your house?
There's nothing I could do about it.
You find it offensive?
Maybe, but so I can't. What am I supposed to do about it? Am I supposed to stand my ground? Am I supposed to call the cops? No, because you have every right to be on the sidewalk and say whatever you want to say, and you know what I'm saying.
As long as it's not offensive. Like, why are you gonna?
As long as it's not offensive, because it's exactly how I feel.
Is there a reason why you feel like that?
Absolutely, it's on the grind. That's how I feel.
Is it this grind or is it
Absolutely.
all the grind?
Absolutely.
Did they do something?
Absolutely. I'm not doing this for no reason.
Did you call maybe the higher ups to see maybe there's some misunderstanding or what happened?
No, I'm not. I would rather just tell them how I feel this way by showing my sign, my First Amendment. I would look up the draft. It's a law. It's a case law that basically solidifies the fact that you can say. Pardon me?
Not on penal code, state law. Somebody finds it offensive.
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm saying
No, I know.
all you got
You're wrong about that, and I'm telling you now, you're absolutely wrong about that. But I hear what you're saying, but I highly suggest that you look into that.
So you got nothing better to do but stand outside.
Absolutely not. Do you have a problem with that? Do I have a job?
I'm just conversating with you.
Do I have a job? Do I have anything better? Okay, I'm through talking to you.
All right, just hang tight, because...
No, I'm not hanging tight. Am I being detained?
Yeah, you are detained.
Really? For what?
Yes, disorderly conduct.
Okay, well, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and I want to speak to a lawyer before answering any questions.
Get a lawyer here, but we're not going to wait for that. You can record all you want. Sir, what you got? A boring video for you, though. I'm not going to give you. That's your whole point of testing people. I already read your sign. Kind of defeating your own purpose, don't you think? Broken sign, you're putting it toward me, and I guess.
The clock's ticking.
Getting some clarification. Said you have nothing to do, so I don't think we're in a rush, right?
$2,000 a minute. That's how much I charge for unlawful detainments.
There you go. Now you're getting to work. That's the whole point. Then you're pointing at me. I already read your sign, girl. There's no point in me reading it again. You came here for one purpose and you're not doing your purpose. Don't understand. You're right, officer.
Alright, so talk's on the grind. No one's offended of anything, so you can be out there as long as you want. So no one cares. But yeah, other than that. You just don't like their mochos or what happened? Or you should prefer
Am I still being detained?
You can go whenever you want. Don't talk to us if you want to.
All right. Yeah. No. I have my own reasons to peacefully protest. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'll just ask you
That's
what's the reason you just don't like on the ground or you just
No.
prefer something other company?
Not at all.
You don't like them?
Nope. I sure don't.
No.
I mean,
Well, I'm not
what
big-
would you
I'm not
think?
big- I'm not a big on the grind guy, anyways. I'm more of a Dutch Bros type of guy.
Right. I was gonna say that. Tomorrow my sign's gonna be Dutch Bros is better.
Dutch Bros is better.
Yep.
Sorry, but like I said, you're on a public sidewalk. Go ahead, do what you need to do.
Right on. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you be safe. If anything
All right. You too.
comes up, you can always call us too if people start harassing you on that stuff.
I'll be fine. Thank you.
Okay. All right,
Appreciate
you have a
it.
good day.
You as well.
Thank you for watching today's video on the Mr. Right channel. The two situations you've just seen are more than tense confrontations between citizens and law enforcement. They are vivid examples of a deeper truth. Legal power doesn't belong to the loudest voice, but to those who clearly understand their rights. In Mesa, Arizona, a city where the rate of child removals is over 50% higher than the national average, a citizen seeking transparency was pressured to show ID in a public office where openness should be the standard. Meanwhile, in Live Oak, Texas, on a calm sidewalk, a peaceful personal protest nearly became a reason to suppress free speech. In both cases, a lack of legal understanding by some officers almost led to unlawful action. So what's the lesson? Wherever you live in the United States, you must learn your state's ID laws. You are not always required to hand over your ID to police. Remember to ask, Am I being detained? Stay calm, invoke your Fifth Amendment rights if necessary, and request a lawyer. This is not just smart behavior, it's how you protect yourself before things spiral out of control. Have you ever faced a similar situation? Share your story in the comments below. Sometimes your experience can help someone else hold on to their freedom.